When an alien race discovered Earth's atmosphere was made with oxygen, their best scientific theory was that the creatures there were able to breathe fire. They eventually decided to invade Earth equipped with thermal armor, and were no match to the bullethell that was waiting for them. "Hi, Commander! We have a problem!" General Centauri looked up from his holopad. His eyes locked on the unfortunate soul who had been chosen to interrupt the general's breakfast. In front of him stood the newest member of his crew, a newly minted lieutenant fresh out of the academy. "Holy fuck, I swear these damn recruits keep getting younger and younger. Then again, maybe it's just because I'm getting older. Gods below, his gill plates are rattling. At least he has enough sense to be afraid. Still, visibly expressing it like that is unacceptable for an officer, even a new one." Centauri thought before barking, "Sir, the proper way to address a superior officer is, 'Hi, Commander, we have a problem.' Sir, now I want you to look at the cup of stimulant in my hand. Notice its level. Is there still stimulant? Is the cup, Lieutenant? Well, is there?" The young lieutenant gulped visibly, his gill plates rattling louder. It was a well-known rule across the entire fleet that you did not disturb the general until after he had finished his morning cup of stimulant. "Sir, yes, sir. There is still stimulant in your cup. I apologize for forgetting protocol. It will not happen again, sir." "Good," thought Centauri. "This one is smarter than his predecessor. Maybe I won't have to fire him out of one of the cannons after all. Lieutenant, you have until I count to 5 to explain to me what is so goddamn important that you thought it was worth interrupting my breakfast. Now, unless your first words are 'half the fleet is on fire' or something of equal severity, I'm going to bust you down to buck private and have you clean the viewing ports while the ship is at warp. 1. "Sir, I'm afraid it's worse than that." "Sir," the lieutenant responded, "all of Strike Group Alpha has been wiped out. Strike Group Bravo is reporting 70% casualties, and we have lost contact with Strike Group Zulu." "Sir," Centauri sighed. "Lieutenant, I take it back. I'm not going to bust you down to buck private. I'm going to strap you to a chunk of steel and fire you out of the fucking forward railgun. What, in the name of all the gods below and demons above, made you think it was a good idea to interrupt my breakfast with what is so obviously a fucking joke? Now, unless you want to learn firsthand what it feels like to feel your skin melt as you are accelerated to near light speed before smashing into the surface of Sol, I suggest you redirect my wrath towards whoever put you up to this." To his credit, Lieutenant Grohl only paled 2 shades under this onslaught. "Sir, it isn't a joke, sir. Check the latest sitrep on your holopad, sir." For the first time in his storied career, General Centauri, High Commander of the Adu Fleet, destroyer of worlds and conqueror of countless races, felt genuine fear. This should not be possible, he thought. This was supposed to be a milk run. One last grand conquest before I retire? Hells, I already have a nice place picked out on the beaches of Aliyah. These humans are basically hairless apes. They don't even have a starship capable of leaving their system, let alone FTL capabilities. How in the fuck did this happen? Slamming his holopad down, the general nearly collided with Lieutenant Grohl in his rush to get to the bridge. "Move your God's forsake ass, Lieutenant, before I move it for you." Stepping to the side, Lieutenant Grohl noticed something he would never forget. The general's gill plates were shaking. As soon as the elevator doors opened onto the bridge, General Centauri was barking orders. "Sit Rep Captain Xavier. I need to know what in the fuck is going on down on that God's forsaken planet. How in the name of all that is holy did this apes manage to decimate at least 2 of our most elite strike groups, even after multiple cycles of bombardment?" "Sir," Captain Xavier responded, "we aren't sure, sir. Reports indicate that these humans have some kind of superweapon that we weren't prepared for, sir. I will know more once the computer finishes processing the combat footage." "Get on it, Captain," the general responded. "I'll be damned if I allow my final campaign to end in disaster." Almost as soon as the general finished speaking, a message flashed up on the holo display. After skimming the report, Captain Xavier reported, "Sir, it appears our scientist got it wrong, sir. Probes of the Terran Communications Network found numerous references to their firepower. Given the planet's comparatively high percentage of atmospheric oxygen, they assumed that the humans were referencing an ability to breathe fire. Apparently, firepower is actually a reference to crude projectile weapons that use explosives to accelerate their rounds. Our forces were not prepared to deal with such crude weaponry, sir. We sent them in with armor designed to ward off heat, not deflect incoming projectiles, sir." "Issue an immediate emergency order to all ground troops," General Centauri responded. They are to retreat to the nearest fortified landing zone and prepare for resupply. I want all shuttle crews fleet-wide loading as much kinetic armor as they can stuff in their birds. Yesterday, Captain. Do you understand? Sir. Yes, sir. Lieutenant Grohl, get on the horn with Colonel Cato. Tell him that, per General Cintari's orders, all ground forces are to retreat to fortified landing zones, take up defensive positions, and await resupply of kinetic armor. Lieutenant Zio, send out a fleet-wide alert. All shuttle crews are to report to their shuttles and begin loading kinetic armor. Anyone thought to be lowly gauging will be shoved out an airlock and Before Captain Xavier could finish relaying her orders, the main viewport lit up with a blinding flash of light. After her eyes recovered, she watched the AFD Nautilus, one of the fleet's destroyers, tear itself apart as it fell from orbit. "What in the fuck was that, Captain?" General Cintari barked. "I don't know, sir," responded the captain. "Running scans now? This shouldn't be possible, sir. It appears that the Nautilus took a direct hit to her reactor core. It appears to have been a slow-moving projectile from Terra. It was too small for her sensors to register it as a weapon and slow enough to slip through the shield, sir. Withdraw the ship from orbit immediately, Captain. I want all remaining ships to fall back to a safe distance and set their sensors to categorize all incoming matter not bearing an ADU identification beacon as a weapon," were General Cintari's last orders. No sooner than the words had left the general's mouth, the entire Terran atmosphere lit up like the night sky. Thousands upon thousands of little lights swarmed off the planet at once, drowning out and mixing with the stars visible through the surrounding space. Seconds later, all hell broke loose amongst the fleet. The swarm of missiles overpowered even the flagship's defensive lasers. Explosion after explosion rained down on her hull, blasting her crew with the heat of 1,000 suns before exposing them to the cold vacuum of space. In less than a minute, the entire fleet was destroyed, and pieces of the once-feared ADU fleet burned as they fell uncontrolled through the oxygen-rich Terran atmosphere.